Hello everyone and welcome back. I am Subnautica. Today we're going to be explaining the Degasi story and how it happened. Let's dive right in. 10 years before the Aurora crash landed on planet 4546b, a corporation from the Mongolian states called the Torgal Corporation built a ship to charter space. But the owner of the Torgal Corporation, Paul Torgal, decided to make an extremely bad decision that would end the lives of almost everyone on the Degasi. Paul entered the planet's atmosphere, and Bart, Paul's son, detected a large energy source coming from the planet. Turns out, it was the quarantine enforcement platform. The platform shot down the Degasi, and they had to make an emergency landing in the water that would kill half the people on board. 3 out of 6 people on the Degasi died. The members are unknown, but drop a comment down below what you think the lost crew members' names were. The members that lived are Paul Torgal, Bart Torgal, and Marguerite Maida. Marguerite Maida is a Mongolian mercenary. Paul hired her to protect them from pirates. Marguerite Maida decided to take control and try to keep the safe. But Paul didn't like that, because it wasn't part of her quote-unquote contract.
Chief's log, 5 weeks since the crash. The only other survivors are my son, Bart, and Maida, the cut-price mercenary I commissioned for the journey. After days drifting in the life pod, rain hammering on the roof, the weather cleared and we washed up here. I had Maida salvage the Degasi wreck, set Bart to finding us a stable source of food. His education is paying off sooner than I'd anticipated. Our only problem is Maida. She says the weather's going to turn. I say she's finding excuses to risk our lives. I imagine she's not going to weaken her life without a physical altercation, and she's itching for a fight. In every judgment she makes, things go from bad to worse. If she had my experience, she'd have more faith. Humans have spent millennia specializing in how to shackle nature to our will. This planet won't cause us any new problems.
Luckily for the Degasi, there was an island, one of 2 on the entire Subnautica map. They exited the life pod and started to explore, scavenging for food and resources. Marguerite began to use salvage pieces from the Degasi wreck to build a temporary base, and 2 small observatories over the course of the time they were on the island. But soon, things would start to escalate.
This island is a godsend. Look out of the window. No predators, fresh food.
No building materials, nothing left of the ship, and your kid says we're gonna starve without more grow beds. Speak up, kid.
It's true, Father. The natural growth rates are too slow to keep supporting us.
All I'm saying is ocean's got us surrounded. No use hiding. Sooner or later, we'll get our feet wet.
The rest of your life may have been a fight, Maida, but I've made my decision. You want to forfeit your emergency pay to take a swim? Go ahead.
Believe me, I'm thinking on it.
Soon enough, Bart began to realize that the crew were using up too much food faster than they could regrow it. Even worse, what was left of the Degasi had most likely been swept away by the ocean's current, or sunk under the dark depths of the planet's ocean. That pretty much means no materials. This begins to make serious tension between Paul and Marguerite. Then they decide to build a much bigger farm on the other side of the island. Soon enough, Marguerite had stumbled across a purple alien tablet.
What is that thing?
I don't know. I found it outside in the sand.
Part of another ship?
None I've ever seen.
It's not even scratched.
Don't fool around with it. It might be worth something.
Stand down, Chief. If it were gonna crumble to dust, it would have done so when I picked it up.
It's glowing.
We're not the first people to come to this planet.
People. Maybe. Could be aliens. Could be the damn sea monsters for all we know. One thing for sure, we ain't gonna find out by staying here.
Although this is a revolutionary discovery, they can't focus on it right now because they need to be working on their farm. Finally, after at least a month of starvation, the crew actually managed to create a somewhat stable food source. Soon enough, their farm was in jeopardy as the rain could flood their food, endangering their lives. Everything was going to plan until the weather kicked in.
Son, I said wait for the storm to pass. Your life's more valuable to me than a plant patch.
You stopped being in charge when the ship you were captaining sunk.
I'll stop being in charge when you take charge of yourself.
Say, Chief. Chief,
What?
you know how to drain those grow beds of 40 tons of stormwater? Or how to conjure food from the air?
I know how to prioritize.
I'm just saying, if that's so, what's your boy's life worth to you today? If tomorrow you're gonna be so hungry you start wondering what he tastes like, let him go deal with the plants.
Son, go deal with the plants.
Bart, Torgal has disembarked the habitat.
Interfere with my family again, and when rescue arrives, I will leave you here. Do you understand me?
No rescue coming, Chief. Not in time. And no staying here neither. This rain keeps falling, sooner or later this place will be buried. The only choice we got is whether to get buried with it.
What makes it even worse is that the rainfall is threatening to make another problem. With all that rain on dry soil, it has the potential to raise the water level, creating great conditions for landslides. And soon enough, just as expected, a large pile of rocks slid on top of the base. Luckily, no one was hurt, just the base. So the crew were forced to move to one of the mountaintop observatories. The sucky thing is the treacherous and wet path down the mountain, making it hard to get food, and just as hard to attend to the crops. And this is starting to make Marguerite very pissed. So she decides to have a little talk with Paul.
You see, Chief, you brought us to this sodden planet. Told us we'd see a lush payday. Now what do we got some 6 weeks later? A dead crew, a habitat that's half buried, food washed away.
I suppose the executive decisions would be better left to someone with your extensive experience of hitting people in the face.
I know enough not to take unscheduled detours to uncharted planets. That's something you don't want to learn the hard way.
Easy to judge a decision in hindsight. Harder to come up with a plan of your own.
Got one already. We take what we can carry and hunker down in a cave somewhere. I scouted a site, a couple 100 meters deep, lots of metal deposits.
How do you imagine we'd live?
With ready access to building materials, like damn queens, a couple of water filters, a bioreactor, fresh fish. But Chief, we'll eat seaweed salad and drink our own urine if that's what it takes. All that matters is, do you got something better?
Send the coordinates to my PDA. I'll review your proposal.
Eventually, Paul agrees with Marguerite's decision to follow her into the southern jelly shroom cave. They pack all of their things, grab materials, and begin to leave the island. Then the crew construct their brand new base. It's a lot bigger than the original and better. It also has new things like more beds, desks, water filtration system, and closer to tons of materials. Paul isn't very fond of it, but Bart loves it.
I thought it might get claustrophobic living underwater. Father feels it is. He'd tell me it was childish, but I stare out of the window and sometimes I think how lucky I am to see this world up close. Back on the island, I wouldn't have believed the creatures that live down here. The fish, they glow. There's one that's 90% eyeball. Snakes twice the length of a habitat compartment. Certainly, it's not all friendly. Most of the plant life is toxic. I learned that the hard way. But I've managed to coax some marble melons into growing indoors. And when they don't cover our dietary needs, well, we eat the fish themselves. It's a bit gross, but it's nothing they wouldn't do. I've been attempting to document my findings. Father approves. He says understanding is power, that the more we know about this planet, the more we can use it to our advantage. I'm just doing it because it's fun. It's not easy without proper equipment and network access, but the old-fashioned way, observing, taking notes, testing theories, shows me the world in a way a spectroscopic analysis never could.
Bart continues his research, but he begins to run out of some materials, and because his dad doesn't want him to leave the habitat to stay safe, he begins to ask Marguerite for help. She agrees.
Something incredible just happened. Since we're down here, I had this plan to build equipment and study the life forms we were encountering, but I didn't have enough enameled glass. So, I started looking for a natural substrate that would strengthen the glass we have, and those stalker teeth we've been finding fit the bill. Only, well, we needed more. That's when Marguerite got interested. She actually listened to me, more than I can say for Father, and I worked up the courage to talk about my more tentative theories. When I told her they were attracted to metal deposits, that their teeth get dislodged when they pick them up, her eyes narrowed and she dashed out of the room. 3 hours later, she came back, her pack loaded down with stalker teeth. I asked her about it, and she shrugged and said my theories were good. Said she had the meeting out of the palm of her hand. I think she meant it literally. She is incredible. She went out to the kelp forest armed with just a heat blade and went fin to fin with a pack of stalkers. On the one hand, that is the coolest thing I have ever heard. On the other, I hope the stalkers didn't come off worse than Marguerite did. She had a huge gash on her forearm. I don't think things went as smoothly as she made out. And what's the point in surviving here if we have to kill everything that makes it so wonderful? I wish I knew more about these animals, but Father won't let me leave the habitat. Maybe with all this glass, we could build a containment unit and get up close to them.
Now, with all of the enameled glass, Bart decides to make an observatory. And he also decides to make environmental scans. And in those scans, he thinks he has discovered the Lost River Laboratory cache. He then goes and tells Marguerite. But before that, the crew discovers a new problem. Water is slowly but surely leaking through their base. And Marguerite started to think if what shot them down would shoot a rescue ship down. So she begins to grow impatient and wants to go deeper. So once again, she decides to have another talk with Paul.
We're already 200 meters below sea level. You want to go deeper?
Look around us, Chief. Water leaking through the hull, water outside the hatch. We're drowning real slow. If rescue arrives, whatever shot us down, it's gonna do it again and again until it's shut off. You see an off switch around here, Chief?
Why would it any more likely be half a kilometer down?
Your kid found something on the scanner. There's something down there. Something that shouldn't be.
You're mad.
I'm going all the same, and I've an idea you two are gonna follow. But if you do, be mindful. Your authority stopped at sea level.
And of course, Marguerite doesn't like Paul's response, so she begins to make plans to go deeper and abandon the base. Marguerite begins to stockpile food and supplies. But she doesn't want to leave Bart. She needs him. But they have to go deeper.
These conniving corporate bourgeois, inbred, incompetent, self-absorbed jerks don't have a damn clue. The kid's not so bad. He's even useful. But I swear, everything that comes out of his father's idiot face is a narcissistic lie. He wants to stay in this cave, his problem. I'm the one doing the heavy lifting. When sea monsters are hunting you, you don't hide. You hunt the sea monsters. Then you build a bigger boat out of sea monster bones and you hunt bigger monsters. Keep going until there aren't any monsters left to hunt you. I'm going deeper. I'm gonna find what shot us down and I'm gonna tear its damn heart out. I've started the prep work. The kids taught me how to make enameled glass. I've started stockpiling metal ores to build myself a sea moth. I'll raid the indoor grow beds before I leave.
But Paul doesn't want to leave. He wants to go back to the island. He also thinks that the rescue ship is coming. But whatever shot them down will shoot the rescue ship down and they don't even know what or who did it.
You know what Maida told me today? She wants to build a habitat 500 meters below sea level, more than a kilometer northeast of here. And she needs Bart and I to do it. She's got it into her head that she can save us if she just acts recklessly enough. But I've hauled Star Wars to Neptune, Plasteel to the Federation. This family operates 9 different mining colonies across the Ariadne Arm. Maida thinks she's better suited to lead. Her contract still says otherwise. But I just cannot damn well tell whether it's the stupidest idea I ever heard, or my only hope. I turned 80 years old last week. I thought I had another 80 in me, but marooned on this planet, there's no swapping out of my liver when the old one fails. Here, I'm mortal. And Maida is useful. So, it's my responsibility to make a decision. Return to the island and hope whatever knocked the Degasi out of the sky won't do the same to the rescue ship. Or take us deeper in search of answers. And all the while be hoping old age gets me before the sea monsters do.
So Paul agrees with Marguerite and decides that it is a good idea to go deeper. So Bart, Paul, and Marguerite pack all of their things and head deeper. Now, if you've played Subnautica, you would know how dangerous the deep Grand Reef is, and all the dangerous fauna make it difficult, and Paul is unappealed and doesn't like it there. But shortly, they discover an orange tablet, just like the purple one back on the island. They discover it in the seabed nearby. They build a new base, and they think very, very carefully on how to make it so it won't flood. This base had no rushed construction. It was equipped with 2 observatories, an alien containment unit, and a small lab. With everything done, they quickly moved in. And this base was the best one yet. But the worst happened. Bart discovered that they were all sick. They all were infected with a disease called the Kara. The disease killed over 143 billion architects, millions and maybe even billions of years ago. But the fighting between Paul and Marguerite only get worse.
Please, stop fighting and listen. We're sick.
What?
How?
You've been coughing, right? Feeling itchy? Blisters?
Yeah.
The biometrics would have warned us if we were sick.
It's something new. It's not in the database.
Come on, then. What's it gonna do? Turn us inside out? Dissolve us into jelly?
It's an alien bacteria. It's everywhere. Every organism on this planet. It's altering our genetic code.
How are the creatures surviving if they're infected?
I don't know yet.
Want me to cut some of them open for you? Find out what makes them tick?
No.
Just tell me what you need, son. Materials, equipment.
Can I have some quiet? I need some time to think.
Now that they know they're sick, they make it their main priority to look for a cure. Now, Marguerite takes this to her advantage and decides to collect fauna samples for Bart to study. But Marguerite makes a very stupid decision by towing in a very injured Reaper Leviathan for Bart to inspect.
Margaret, Maida has boarded the habitat.
What are you so happy about, Maida?
Say, kid, I brought you something.
Is that a Leviathan outside?
Towed it home on the back of the sub.
You killed that thing?
It's still breathing. I was about to finish the job, but I can stay and chat if you'd like. No? Then make yourself useful and pass me that hardened blade.
Are you out of your mind? You brought that thing here? What if it's not as dead as it looks? What if others come?
Then Marguerite went outside and killed the Reaper, officially. But without her knowing, a large and very much alive Reaper Leviathan followed her. And before they realized that the Reaper was there, it was far too late.
I have had it with you, risking our lives.
Oh, stow it, Chief. The kid can't kill this disease without fish to study. I'm just bringing him home.
But tell her. Tell her I'm right.
You're both wrong. Marguerite, I can't find out how they resist the bacteria if you slaughter them all.
It ain't always they oblige in coming in alive.
He means you're being reckless.
Father, the outcome's no better if we hole up in here and don't go outside. That we have to find a middle way.
There is no compromise. Not while she's on my sea base.
Your sea base?
I'm going outside.
Bart, Torgal has disembarked the habitat.
Bart, come in. It's dangerous. Damn it, boy. I know you can hear me.
Chief, get off the radio and put on your helmet.
What?
Brace!
The attack completely destroys a part of their base. Bart had already escaped. Then Paul and Marguerite left, but all of them eventually got separated. Paul then begins to swim towards a light near the sea floor. He believes it's Bart, but he was wrong. Then all of a sudden he was about to be eaten alive by the Reaper, but Marguerite appeared with a piece of metal and stabbed it into the Reaper's neck and was dragged away. She never saw any of them ever again.
Came out of nowhere. An alien kraken, bigger than a cyclops. Tore a hole clear through the reinforced hull. I barely got my breather in time. I told her. I said others would come. The rupture threw me clear of the habitat, and the monster turned and bore down on me. And just as its tentacles came within reach, Maida appeared out of nowhere. She had a sea glide in one hand, a jagged piece of scrap metal in the other. She meant to butcher that beast or die trying. The last I saw her, she had the metal lodged in its neck as the monster did its best to shake her, contorting off into the darkness. I'm certain she got her wish, one way or another. Then I thought I saw a light deep below me. I hoped maybe Bart had swum clear. I followed it. Now I wonder whether I saw anything at all. My oxygen is low. The habitat is gone. I can't see the sky. Something surely has the scent of my blood.
Bart was currently making his way back up to the surface. Bart was heading for the floating island. Unknown to Paul, the light he had seen was actually a crab squid. Sadly, he was eaten alive. Bart had then made it to the floating island. He rested in one of the observatories where he would record his final voice log and slowly die of the disease.
This is the first time I've seen sunlight in months. After all that time in the deep, I'd been dreaming of it. Now that I'm back here, I'm finding it hard to enjoy alone. Father was right. We should never have left this place. We shouldn't have gone so deep. They do not want us down there. Despite my best efforts, ill health is taking hold of me. The visions are getting worse. Marguerite and Father are now part of the ecosystem of this incredible planet. It's reassuring to know that when I go, I'll join them. Until then, well, there's always the view.
Bart then builds a small base where the crash zone is. He spends his last waking moments there. Then, he died. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more upcoming videos. Remember to subscribe and smash that like button and turn on notifications so you never miss another video. That's all for now. See you in the next one, my Altera crewmates.